BK Academy presents the chess game International Master Liordis Quesada versus International Master Carlos Antonio Alejano from the Cuba Men tournament, round 12. The game started with c4. The English opening. c5. Symmetrical variation. g3. Knight c6. Bishop g2. g6. Knight f3. Bishop g7. Castle. d6. Knight c3. It's been all book theory. The main line continues with e5. However, black develops its light squared bishop with what move? Black played bishop f5. Interesting. Typically black plays bishop d7. And after d3, black plays queen c8, intending to follow up with bishop h3. So after bishop f5, the game continued with d3, queen d7. Maybe the reason for playing bishop f5 instead of bishop d7 is because black would prefer to have its queen team up with its bishop from the d7 square. The game continued. Rook e1, bishop h3, bishop h1, h6, bishop d2, knight f6, knight d5, knight takes d5, c takes d5, knight d4, bishop c3, rook c8, knight d2, b5, e3. Now here, how should black play? b4. Now white must decide between bishop takes d4, e takes d4, and bishop takes b4. What is white's strongest move? Bishop takes d4. And after c takes d4, white locks down the center with e4. And after black, castle. How should white continue? What side of the board should white play on, the king side or queen side? After knight c4, it becomes apparent the battle is going to take place on the queen side. Black has the bishop pair, but they are cut off from the queen side where the action is about to take place. However, black's majors look more prepared for action. So let's see how this plays out. Rook c5. Black activates his rooks, and here white makes a key move. With what move? a3. Attacking black's advanced pawn, activates his a-rook, right? After rook b8. Takes b4. Rook takes b4. Queen d2. Black's rooks are dominating but have no targets. Rook cb5. Rook a2. Protects the pawn, prepares to double up, activating all of white's majors. This could spell trouble for black, right? Black's bishops look like altar boys while white's knight looks strong and mighty. Here, black played queen c7. Bad move. Because white has what move? Rook a1. Now, what to do? Can his a-pawn hold up to white's pressure? If black plays rook b7 to keep the advantage, how must white play? How can white add more pressure? With knight a5. White attacks the pawn's defender, and after rook 7 b5, white improves his knight with knight c6. A fine post for the knight, adding more pressure to the a-pawn, attacking a rook, blocking the queen, and is just totally dominating. Here, black mixes things up with a positional sacrifice. So how, with what move? Rook takes c4. When in a bad position, this is a typical exchange to mix things up a bit. D takes c4. Queen takes c4. Black exchanges his rook for a minor and a pawn. But is black's position improved? Well, its dark bishop looks better as its d4 pawn is now passed and free to advance. Following bishop g2. Bishop takes g2. King takes g2. How should black play? There's no saving the a-pawn, so maybe white could prepare to counterattack with queen b4. If white takes the a-pawn, black can recapture the b-pawn. Right? Wrong. The problem with this move is that it allows queen takes b4. Exchanging queens, rook takes b4. Weakens black's threat of promoting its passed pawn, and brings about the end game with white having a strong advantage, given the amount of pawns still on the board. And after rook takes a7. Rook takes b2. White still wins an extra pawn with rook takes e7. Now if black counterattacks in the center with f5, and white goes pawn grabbing with rook takes a7, Black takes back with f takes e4. And after, rook takes e7. How can black equalize? By pushing e3. F takes e3. D takes e3. Forcing. Queen takes e3. And now comes the critical move. How must black play? Rook takes b2. Queen takes d5. Or none of the above. A little test-taking tip. In most cases, none of the above is wrong. Queen takes d5. Gives black a fighting chance. Rook takes b2. King g1. If queen takes d5, what is white's strongest move? Rook takes g7. Threatening to eat the b2 rook with a fork. But what if here, black plays bishop d4? That's dubious. Right? Leaving the king trapped on the back rank. Also here, if black tries rook g2, black has nothing after king h1. But even if white takes with king takes g2, following queen takes d5, queen f3, what is black's best defense, with what move? Queen takes f3. King takes f3. However, it's not enough. After bishop takes a1. Rook e6. White's winning. So instead of rook takes b2, if black plays queen takes d5, black has a much better chance to equalize. Instead of taking the a-pawn, white could do much better with what move? Rook a4. And after, queen b3. Rook 1 a3. Queen takes b2. Queen takes b2. Rook takes b2. How should white play? Rook takes a7. Or e takes f5. e4 is hanging, so the best move is e takes f5. Instead of f5. Or queen b4. Black played rook b4. Huh? What is black up to? I don't know. After, rook c1. Queen b5. Rook c7. d3. Apparently, this is what black was preparing with the move rook b4. However, after, rook takes e7. Here, how should black play? Rook takes e4. Right? Because after, rook takes e4. Queen takes d5. Now you see, right? Black's queen is attacking both rooks, but white would still have the advantage. Instead of taking the pawn, black played bishop f6, forcing the rook to take with rook e takes a7, leaving its c-pawn unprotected, so rook takes e4. Now how should white continue? Instead of exchanging pawns, white first protects his d-pawn with rook 7 a5. And after the queen moves, queen b3. What is white's strongest move? Rook 2 a3. Attacking the queen and the d-pawn. Now, how must black play? Rook e2. Counter-attacking the queen, the b-pawn, and for what other reason? After, queen takes h6. How should black continue? Rook takes f2. Attempting to draw white's king into the open to be checkmated. However, black continued. King h3. Now what is black's best defense, with what move? Queen b6. The only move, teaming up with the bishop to guard the back rank while keeping an eye on its own rook. Rook a8. Bishop d8. Black has defended well, giving black only one move to maintain his advantage, so how should white play? A very strong grandmaster, Georgi Kakiashvili, once told me the secret to playing chess well. Oh, but I can't tell you. Sorry, it's a secret. What is black threatening here? Rook takes h2. Right? Leading to a draw by perpetual checks. Now that you know the threat, how should white play? Black needs to use white's back rank f1 square to draw with perpetual checks, so the correct move is rook h1. Or queen c1. Rook a1. Rook f5. What is black threatening? You must always know what your opponent is planning. Rook h5. Forking the queen. Beating a grandmaster is tough. Here white again only has one move to keep advantage. What is it? Rook 1 a6. The only move. And here black resigned, maybe a bit premature, but after a few moves you understand. But first take a look and see if you can determine why the Grand Master resigned. After Queen c7. How should white continue? Rook 6a7. Again the only move that wins. Queen b6. Again, only one move. What is it? It's not rook a6. It's rook b7. The bishop is lost. Game over. I hope you enjoyed the video, made at the request of International Master Liordis Quesada. This is what BK Academy does. If you like to have a video made of your game, contact our videographer, Tyrone Ferrara.